Action figure lovers and fellow daughters and sons of Sanguinius, welcome back. This is Boots and Studs, and today we are finally going to finish reviewing the fourth action figure of the Paragons of Baal that was released not too long ago. Let's see what this one has to offer, so let's jump right into the review. Alright, let us unbox him so we can have him join his battle brethren. Taking off the plastic wrap. Unsheathing the Marine from the box. Alright everybody, now that the action figure is unboxed, let's just dive right on in, starting off with the bolt pistol as usual, and this is your standard bolt pistol over here. And compared to the other bolt pistols that are out there, this one is actually no different. It is your standard issue bolt pistol, so you've got this, again, weathered look that's going on here. You got this dark gunmetal look along with a lot of dry brushed highlights over here that gives this a messy weathered look. So that is it for the bolt pistol. Let's put that one down. So let's take a look at the empty holster over here. So as you can see, the empty holster has a bunch of highlights over here, up here and around the sides and stuff. I'll have to say that the highlights are a bit heavy-handed and thick and a bit messy. So this is not too much of a departure from JoyToy's usual standard look. Let's take a look at the power sword on the side over here. And this is actually a pretty cool looking power sword in my opinion. So again, you have the standard dark gunmetal silver look, and then it gradually transitions to this light silver look over here. Every single one of the power swords have this kind of patina to it, so it's really nice. I will have to say that these electric nodes actually look pretty decent to me. So you have this nice blue translucent glow at the end of the nodes, which denote that there's electricity going on, which is really nice. Although I would have liked if the blue was a little bit more prominent. Now let's take a look at the backpack here. The thing that makes this backpack unique is this winged iconography up here. I don't believe that any of the Blood Angels veterans nor the regular Blood Angels actually has something like this, so this is really cool to me. So you have the wings over here that are lightly highlighted where the highlights are supposed to be, which is really nice. And then if you flip this around, the highlights are very accurately placed and look pretty good in my opinion. Though I'm not exactly too sure why they decided to highlight random places on the skull, but no biggie. And aside from that special icon up here, the rest of the backpack is your regular standard issue Space Marine backpack. We are going to start off by looking at the helmet, and this is pretty accurately painted in the fact that all Blood Angels veterans have gold helmets, which was nice because JoyToy was able to translate this correctly. And then you have the lenses that are actually painted on very well. And the green is where the green is supposed to be, and the gold color is where it's supposed to be as well. The only thing that I wish that was a little bit more prominent was the shades in these helmet vent areas. I wish that would have been a little bit more dark in these recesses. And then looking at the pauldron, it looks pretty cool to me. And just to let you know, all four of these Space Marines are based off of Space Marine sprue upgrades. So you will find this shoulder pad in the upgrade sprue as well as this in the upgrade sprue. So taking a look at this pauldron, I really like this flare over here. It definitely gives the action figure a lot more character compared to its brethren. Although I think I would have liked the recesses to be shaded a little bit more. And as you notice, the L on the ball is a little bit worn, which I would have liked it if the L was actually whole. Then moving on to the other side, it gets a little bit messy in my opinion. So you have a perfectly screened Blood Angels company icon over here, and then you get a very, very weathered and messy looking shoulder pad, unfortunately. So you've got a lot of shading going on over here, a blotch over here, more blotches over here, and more blotches over here. I do understand that JoyToy does like to go for the very worn kind of power armor look, but this, in my opinion, looks a little bit more than intentionally dirty. And then moving on to the chest area, you've got his man nipples over here, which is absolutely hysterical to me. And then you have his abs of steel, which is a really cool touch that JoyToy has added. So next, we are going to be looking at the belt region, the loincloth, as well as the accessories. This tends to be the area in which JoyToy action figures has a little bit of issues painting wise, and unfortunately this looks like it's no different. With the accessories, you do get a ton of highlights on the side, as well as the holster has plenty of highlights over here as well. Although I have to say that I wish JoyToy was a little bit more careful with this, because as you can see on this handle of this bolt pistol, the silver was supposed to actually cover up this black area over here that I'm pointing to. And then the highlights are very heavy-handed and a little bit messy, which, like I said before to you, it's not a departure from what JoyToy has been doing in the past. The loincloth area, as you can see, actually has that very worn-in look, and there's a very prominent miss over here and a bunch of random dark shading here, some speckles around over here as well. I'm not exactly too sure what's going on with it, but it kind of detracts from the whole entire aesthetic of the action figure, in my opinion. As we flip this around and take a look at the other side, it appears that it has, again, more of this weathered kind of look to it. I do like the transition from this dark colored tan to this light colored bone color. Going back to the knee area, there's a fairly well screened skull over here on the kneecap, and then the rest of this power armor on the leg area has, again, the very well worn type of look that you would see in all JoyToy action figures. Now, if you're new here, let's quickly talk about articulation. JoyToy has probably one of the most flexible action figures out there. So about the head, you have 360 degrees of rotation, and then a lot of movement over here where you can tilt the head back and forth. About the shoulder region is 360 degrees, as you can see over here. And it has a ratcheting mechanism that is able to hold the pose that you put on it. The forearm can be rotated 360 degrees, as you can see over here. The elbow joint is double jointed, so there is a joint here and as well as here. So you move this in once and you can move it again further over here, as you can see. About the wrist area is 360 degrees, and there's also plenty of tilt motion up and down, left to right, as you can see with the wrist area. Now there is another ball and socket joint over here in the middle of the chest area and the abdomen that allows you to tilt the Space Marine back and forth like this. It does not allow for 360 degree rotation, but about the abdomen and the waist area, you are able to get 360 degrees of rotation here. And the legs are limited in the motion by the loincloth over here as well as the accessories, but you should be able to kick this out 90 degrees up here, although there's a decent amount of resistance, and then you should be able to kick this out about 45, maybe even 90 degrees out here, out back. And the kneecap area is double jointed, just like the elbow area, so you can bend this in once and then bend this in further again, as you can see. And about the ankle area, you can see back and forth rocking motion over here, and the toes also bend up and down for added stability for posing. All right, folks, now that the articulation is done, let me show you how to replace different parts on this action figure. So it's very easy to do through ball and socket joints. So let's just say that the Space Marine is going to be wielding his bolt pistol. He wouldn't actually have two bolt pistols at the same time. So all you have to do is remove this over here, and it attaches through a ball and socket mechanism here. And this is where you would add the empty holster, and it just plugs in like this. Nice plug and play. And the next thing to do is give this action figure its bolt pistol. There is a little bit of finagling that needs to be done, as the joints are a little bit stiff, but there are plenty of methods to go around that, which is usually to dip the appendages into hot water, which will allow better posing. And then the final thing to do is give him his power sword over here. Again, some finagling, but not as much as the bolt pistol itself. And voila, he's got his power sword. And then finally, to attach the backpack two pegs into two holes back here. And then voila, we are done. All right, folks, the review is done. Now let me wrap this up real quick. All right, folks, what do I think of this action figure? Well, it is, again, another solid offering from JoyToy. There is a ton of character that you find on this action figure that I really like. The prominent character things are basically the right and left pauldrons, where you find them on an upgrade sprue that I've said before, with the miniatures. And then there is the special iconography that you see on the back over here that is very unique, and no other Blood Angels has this type of iconography on the backpack. Just like with any other JoyToy action figure, unfortunately there are a ton of painting issues that actually plague this action figure. However, in my opinion, when you are, again, looking at these action figures in your cabinet from 2 or 3 feet away, you're not going to actually ever notice these defects. So is this action figure well worth your hard-earned dollars or not? I would have to say maybe. And if I was in a financial bind, I would probably pass on this action figure, mainly because there's really nothing too unique about this action figure in my opinion. So if you actually watch my other Paragons of Baal action figure reviews, there are 2 main ones that I would suggest you to get, and that is the one with the blood chalice as well as the one with the death mask. Those, in my opinion, really embody what a blood angel is supposed to look like. And as usual, thank you so much for your continued viewership as well as your support. This channel definitely would not be here without you. So this is Sprues and Studs. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.